soon as you're kind of up and running with Freckle, this will be your home screen, and this is where you'll always start your day with. And there are a few things here that make this report really helpful. So this is a great way for you to see, kind of at a glance, how are my students doing, or what are my students doing? You can answer both of those. Today, this week, this month. Most often, you'll probably use this to see what your students are doing today or this week. But enough kind of talking. Let me just show you what this looks like. It's really powerful. So here you can filter by your class. So if you have multiple classes in Freckle, you can look at one class at a time. You can filter by time period. Again, I would say the most common here, or if you just want to look at today. So say that you assign some work to your class, or you have your students practicing on Freckle right now, and you want to know what they're doing and how they're doing, then you'd want to have that toggle to today. Just so we can see more data, I'm going to have this set to maybe the last 3 months for us just now. And then you can filter by subject, and you can filter by all the different parts of Freckle here. So you can have this report show you all of the things that they could possibly be working on, or you could have it filtered down to just one specific thing. So in this case, for our example here, I'm going to be most interested in math. And so I'm going to toggle off this ELA. And in fact, I'm just going to want to look at how my students are doing with their adaptive practice. So here's a little trick. You can click this only button, and it will only select adaptive practice and unselect everything else. And so here we can look at my report, and at a glance, you can see that Freckle is giving me really helpful information. It's letting me know that in the last 3 months, Millard has answered the most correct questions, 329 of 424. Indira has answered the least correct questions at 3 of 19. Millard has also practiced the most, so go Millard, showing up at the top of the board for 2 of these. And our highest accuracy is James Buchanan, who has great accuracy for this time period. So at a glance, I already have kind of this snapshot of information as a teacher. But then I can scroll down to the actual activity feed, and I can filter this information in whatever way is going to be most helpful to me. So maybe I want to just kind of toggle this by accuracy here, or look at my different scores here. Maybe I want to toggle by time practice. So you can do that for all of these. And then you can really dig in. So maybe I'm going to filter, and I want to see my students who are kind of struggling. So I see here that I have 12% accuracy for Indira. And I can click on this little arrow, and I can dive in for a more detailed look. So I can see everything that they've been up to, and what level they've been practicing at, what type of practice they've been doing, how much time they've spent, how many questions they've answered, and how many they've gotten correct. And you can see, I promise I didn't plan this. I didn't know who I was going to click on. I'm not nearly that prepared. But what we can see here, which is really interesting, is I bet the reason why this student is struggling, it would seem to be that they're not giving it an honest effort. And obviously I don't know the student, it's a fake student. But the reason why I say that is I can see that they've answered all of these questions, and yet they've only spent, a minute or a minute and a half. So they answered 10 questions in a minute and a half and got 90%. Wow, that's great. But here they did 10 questions in a minute and got 0%. As a former 5th grade teacher, I certainly would expect 10 questions to take a lot more than a minute. And that's why I indicated maybe they're rushing through it. They didn't give it their best effort. They were distracted. Who knows what's going on there? But at a glance, I can kind of see that is a good high likelihood of what can be going on. So I hope you can see kind of just the power of the activity feed. Let's switch it just to today, which is kind of the most common way that you'd use it. You can easily see what all of your students have been up to in that day if you have them practicing in Freckle.